they took a lot of women books out the Bible, but sometimes God have ordained women with the purpose too. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of women out here who needs help, who needs guidance in order to fix our communities. And sometimes we have that mission too. So y'all have to remember, like, it's not all about just being independent and singling y'all out. And I think that's what y'all think when y'all see women who are successful. And it's not that. It's just sometimes we like helping people, and sometimes depending on where you're the stage you're successful in, like managers, they have groups of people under them that they help, just like people who, CEOs, they're doing it to help people. And like I said, God give women purpose too.
I also think
Okay,
we need
so
to take into
again,
consideration.
I'm
Hold
sorry, go
on,
ahead, Ty.
Ming. Let me just give. I also think we need to take into consideration that over the history of time, there's really never been a time in history where Black women didn't work. Right? Before we were able to actually get jobs, we worked as nannies in other people's homes, even when we had children, even when our husbands could work. So there's never really been a time in history where women or Black women, in the majority, I'm speaking, only stayed at home. We didn't get that privilege. We still had to do something. We were nannies. We went out. We cleaned people's houses. Black women have always worked to some capacity and always did something extra than just taking care of our own children. That's why you will talk to other cultures and they will say, like, Black women have been the mothers of everyone, because literally historically that has always been Black women's role. We've always worked. It's never been a time where Black women didn't contribute in some type of way, even if her man was out and about and, like you stated, traveled and everything else working. Yeah, he brought in more, but we still contributed.
So
Hey, real,
again, I understand that, and they did it on a part-time basis, but they also had pride in taking care of kids. Let me say you that this: the most important investment you have is your kids. But see, a lot of women in 2024, they don't think that it's my job, it's my career, it's about how much money I make and how much I accomplish. Yeah, a lot of y'all ladies shaking heads, but I heard y'all talk on these platforms. I even mentioned it, Daddy, you talking about Lisa Ray said nothing about family. You know what she was bragging about? How much money she breaks, how accomplished she is. She never bragged about how good of a mother she was, how she raised her kids to be successful, or whatever the case may be, because they don't take pride in it no more like they used to. It's like beneath them all. That's the second or third thing on the list. How much money do I bring in? How successful I am? How many accomplishments do I have? That's the thing about it. A woman of the 60s, they would take pride in how well the kids raised, what college they. Man, look, again, y'all go ahead. Y'all feel the way you feel. As us men, we see it a little bit different, but I
I
understand.
want to
That
give
just
you
seems like an
hey,
extremist
hold up. Can
thought.
I give you some history real quick? I'm sorry, Brittany.
well, we supposed to be letting Kim go next.
I
Okay.
think Kim's supposed to be talking next.
Okay. I just wanted to give you a bit of history, but
Yeah.
So my
I'm
question,
here for it, Billy. I'm here for it.
my
okay.
question is for Billy, because she mentioned something about 5 minutes ago. She did say that when she dates, the people that she dates are they date her, and she knows because she has a plan. She knows exactly what she's doing. She doesn't need to be led per se. So that makes sense. And I say that to say this. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Miles Monroe, pastor. One of the things he talks about, or he talked about, and is very good. If I can find it, I'll put it in the chat. He talks about purpose, and initially when people are wanting to get married, that in order for all of it to work in a healthy manner, the first thing that the man has to have is purpose. And a lot of people, or he created work. A lot of people confuse work with work being physical work that we do. And that's actually not true. He said the first thing that a man needs is to find work, meaning purpose. He has to find his purpose. You can have purpose and have a job. They're not synonymous. If it's synonymous, that's great, right? So you find your purpose, you find your work. He created work for the man because he knew how important it was going to be for him. Then he created the woman as the helpmate. Now, the things that do need to be taken into account, and I do agree with the women in this aspect, Black women have not been afforded the luxury as our non-Black women counterparts, and we have worked. And the other things, if we look at our non-Black women and the marriage rates, and we look at all the things just side by side, there does you do have to take socioeconomic background into to account, and race cannot not be, it can't not be excluded. And I say that to say We have been homemakers, and historically, we have had to take care of everybody plus ourselves. It is just now that we're kind of taking a step back and saying, okay, we got to take care of ourselves first. When you look at the marriage rates and you look at, if you even look at mortality rate in Black women, it kind of screams at you, if you will. Mortality rate is up. Yes, it is in all women, but it's still significantly higher in Black women. I think the want to work and to have a purpose from a woman's behalf, I don't think it's solely out of, yes, she has purpose, but I think some of it has to do with kind of like you have insurance when you're sick. I think you just need to have some, I call it, you want to have some backup to know that you're going to be okay in the event that something doesn't, go right. But I think a lot of working women they do well from what I see, working and pouring into the home. I think what it has to do is the healthiness of the woman, because you can have a job, and I mean, I'm not going to lie. Yes, you can be masculine, but you can also still be feminine at home. But you can still, I believe, you can still pour in equally into your home, raising a kids, keeping your home up, decorating your home, looking feminine, pouring into your community. All those things are actually very feminine. When you're pouring, when you have your purpose too, you're actually, because God gives men purpose, yes, but He also gives women purpose. Like I'm not saying men can't nurture, but they don't nurture to the degree. So you don't have healthy communities if you don't have nurturing, just like you don't have healthy communities if you don't have masculine leadership. There has to be equal balance. And if one's out of sync, it's not going to work. So for instance, if I date a man and I'm high in my purpose and he's not, we're already walking it. It's not going to work because he doesn't have his, and it's going to be chaotic. And I'm going to not lead necessarily because I want to, but because it's not going to be equally yoked. That is the perfect way to describe it. We're not going to be equally yoked. I'm going to be in mine, and it's going to come off as masculine, and it's not going to be expressed the way it should be. Now, if I'm finding my partner that's equally yoked, my gifts are going to come out as nurturing. They're going to come out in a feminine essence. They're going to be very divine, very soft. If I'm unequally yoked, it's going to come off as masculine, not equally yoked. There's going to be discord in my home, and I don't think that I would be able to give my gifts back to the community. It's not going to be balanced. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I feel like when I was leading, I had to say at times, like, this is emotional. We can't be on this right now. We need to be looking towards this. And he like, but that's what you're supposed to do for me. And I'm like, but we can't focus. We've been focused on that for like too long. We need to get to this money. We need to get out this situation. And right now, you just finished school. I just finished school. So now it's the next step. You got to get these internships done. But I'm tired. And now I'm coming off masculine because I don't want to entertain your emotions, because right now I got to figure out the next move because you're not taking initiative. So I agree. And I agree with Hank that the woman in acrimony, the reason why her situation went wrong, because she was complaining the whole time. And that's why I said men got to be careful who they date, because they'll date women who's on the surface doing what they're supposed to do, but they're regretting it the whole minute. Like, I hate doing this. And then they got women in their ear telling them that you don't have what you deserve. There should be more out of this by pouring into you for this long. They're not doing it with like a genuine heart to see, because if she was doing with a genuine heart, I would have been asking questions like, so what did you do different last time than this time? Okay, where are you at now? What mistake did you make? Oh, do you remember last time you told me this? You told me that didn't work, and you told me, you know what I'm saying? But that lady was just sitting around just waiting, like, just waiting, just not like really motivating him and pouring into him. She was just there with the wrong mindset. And then soon as she left, come to find out she was the problem, because she really didn't believe, because her sisters told her not to believe. She didn't have faith in that man. She was just like there doing what she was supposed to do, but she wasn't fully submitted spiritually. She was just like, she was still pulled back and judging him and had a negative mind frame the whole time she was there supporting him. And
But
he was still checking
but
on
if
her
you
like, he was still checking on her like, you cool? Okay, I'm sorry about this and this and that. When he noticed she was overwhelmed, he cared. Like, he genuinely cared and talked to her and tried to do things. And he just wasn't, and they didn't have kids yet. So it's not like he was missing time with the kids or anything. It was just her. And if she would have told him, hey, I need you to sleep with me tonight, or I need this or that, he would have been there. Sometimes he couldn't be there because he was so like, being an engineer is different than somebody just working a 9 to 5 to, you know what I'm saying, to invest something. He had to use his hand, his mind, his mentality, and she was just the man frame she had while she was there with him. I believe 100% contributed to why their situation took as long as what it did.